The truth is, if I lost everything tomorrow, I'd choose sales again. I would. I wouldn't scamper to try to get a salary somewhere. I would stay and remain in sales. Why? Now, today, we're going to talk about how much money can you actually make in sales. Let me give you a little bit of background. So 2004, very pivotal year. I take a job at an insurance company. I think I was making technically $78,000 a year, which for someone who didn't finish high school on time, never finished college, I didn't think that was too bad. I was making $78,000 a year, good benefits. And I just realized that, man, I really don't like what I'm doing. I just don't like it. I saw some of my buddies from high school making money in real estate, and they were either selling with mortgages or selling real estate or as investors. And I'm like, man, if those knuckleheads can do it, I can too. I don't know why I remember this, but April 2004, I read my first book on entrepreneurship. It was around real estate. I read Building Wealth by Russ Whitney. I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Kiyosaki. I just started consuming these books like a mad person. I fall in love with the concept of rental properties. At that insurance job, I team up with a guy that sat in front of me who I was friends with, a guy named Kyle, and we decide to start buying rental properties, low-income areas in Fort Myers, Florida, and we start buying properties. We start making money. Every piece of that is sales because you're selling the person on the price that you want for the thing, and then you're selling the tenant on the rent that they should pay. So all of it is sales related. I learned how to start flipping houses. The biggest one I ever did as far as my profit, as far as a fast flip, is I would do what's called wholesaling. So you would get a property under contract and you wouldn't sell the property, you would sell the contract. You're just shuffling paper. And I remember the biggest one of those I did, $75,000 in about an hour of work. I used to work $70,000 a year working 45-ish, 50 hours a week. I left that job April 2005. And then you fast forward. And I remember in 2012, thought, man, if I could just have $1 million year, that would be amazing. I hire a coach. That year in 2012, our initial investment was, I think, $35,000 into a coach. And then later that year, after she helped us make some good money, we rehired her for another $50,000. 2013, first $1 million year. 2014, first $1 million month. 2015, first $1 million day. And let me tell you how that went, actually. We sold a product. This one down here, that's for my product called the 3-Minute Expert. Now, we don't sell that anymore because who's really blogging anymore? It was a blog product. We released that in 2015, and in 10 days, it did $910,000 in sales. Crazy. Now, to be fair, that $910,000, I had a lot of affiliates. So I probably made a profit of maybe $500,000, but in 10 days, not too bad. We do that, $910,000 in sales in a 10-day period with the help of a lot of great affiliates. And we gift everyone a ticket if they bought a course. They come to our event. And at that event, I offered high-end coaching, was a mastermind. I think I had a $20,000 and a $50,000 option. That's the first day we did $1 million in sales. And my sons happened to be there. So people like John and Nadia Melton joined, Bob Heilig joined, Simon Chan joined. I think a little bit later, Robert Hollis joined, Larry Taylor Thompson joined, Angel Fletcher. I mean, the list goes on and on. I can't name them all. We had 85 people bought at that event. And my older sons happened to be there. They have the memory of me working that last job. I remember telling them, I'm like, hey, do you remember me when I worked at the insurance company? And they're like, yeah. And I said, I just made in one weekend, one day, technically, what I would have made in 12 years there. It just like blew their mind. So how much money can you actually make in sales? I mean, the answer is there are limits based on what you're selling, but boy, what's possible if you get good at sales? I mean, it's absolutely unlimited. I know realtors that will have a $100,000 commission month and then be dry for 3 months. So the trick is, as you work active income, I should say, so sales is active income. As you work active income, you do want to have some kind of plan for passive income because you don't want to be zero to hero every single month. Obviously, many of you are in network marketing where you can build out residual income, build out passive income, get paid over and over and over. One of the clients that I coached, I mean, he's gotten paid $200,000 a month for the last 12, 15 years, like clockwork. That's amazing. If you're not in that kind of model and you're in sales and you start making good money, figure out some kind of dividends or some kind of way for you to make passive income because you don't want to just rely on you hustling, bustling for sales. But the thing is, you got to walk in faith, man. I think a lot of people become addicted to a guarantee. They want that guaranteed salary. They want that guaranteed payment each and every week. And maybe you're designed for that. I am not designed for that. And by the way, I'm not hating on jobs. Like if you love your job, awesome. If you're a teacher or firefighter or police officer or whatever, like awesome. I would advise that maybe, just maybe, even on a part-time basis, maybe you can get a side gig where you're selling some stuff, even if it's like selling on Marketplace or something like that. Like, I don't know, whatever. But there is no cap in how much money you can make in sales, because most of us, we don't end up in the thing we originally started in sales. I mean, when I was 12, I was selling airheads. I found this, you know what airheads are? Little taffy things. They're pretty gross. I was 12 years old, going to Trafalgar Middle in Cape Coral, Florida. And I found a drugstore that, I don't know why, but they sold these things for 10 cents. And I'm like, shoot, I can sell those. I bought them for 10 cents. I'd buy all the boxes I could and I'd sell them for a quarter. And I was moving 90 to 100 a day. Now, obviously, I didn't build an airhead empire, so I didn't stick with that. But once upon a time, I was days a month on the road, Vegas, Chicago, Phoenix, Miami, LA, selling a $7,000 real estate education system in a 90-minute pitch to a cold audience. That's intense. Actually, to even get the job, you had to memorize a 90-page script to even get on the road, and they would test you. One of the hardest things I've ever had to do. But there were times where I would fly out and completely strike out, and other times in 90 minutes, I'd make $30,000. I would kind of check yourself of, are you addicted to a guarantee? Is that what God is calling you to do? Is God calling you to walk maybe a little bit more in faith and go into pay for performance? I think of the parable of the talents, where they turned the 5 into 10, the 2 into 4, but the one just kind of buried it, especially when we've been injured. Like I got injured in real estate. When the market crashed, I got wiped out. I went through foreclosure, went through divorce. I could have easily been like, oh man, entrepreneurship isn't for me. Like, let me get out of sales and let me get back into a salary. But I didn't. And I'm glad I didn't. And if I had to lose it all again, I would go right back into sales. I would be selling something, and I hope that this is helpful for those of you who maybe you're considering sales or you really don't know much about it. And the thing is, I've seen introverts crush it in sales. Introverts naturally will follow what's the easiest, with me saying the least, way to build a business and make sales. I find introverts are actually easier, at least with what I teach. They're actually easier to teach. Extroverts, I have to help them not rely so much on their charisma and personality because it's not duplicatable. I see this question asked a lot. How much can you make? The answer is it's unlimited, but realize that whatever you go into in sales is probably not what you're going to stick to. So don't be so like, oh, I don't know if I'm passionate about selling cars, or I don't know if I'm passionate about. Learn the art of sales, learn persuasion, learn sales, learn how to overcome objections, learn how to be postured, learn how to no longer fear rejection, and get your licks in there. You may either start to like it or you'll roll those skills into the next thing and crush it over there. I love the sales arena. There's just nothing like the high of helping people, because that's really what sales is. When I talk to someone, I'm finding out what is it that you actually need, and let me connect you with a solution that will help you get what you need. If you're someone who loves impact, value, pouring into others, making it happen, stop looking so much at, oh, I don't have to sell people. I'm not selling people. I am solving problems. And if I can't solve the problem, I'll refer them to somebody. I hope that's helpful to you. A little bit different topic than normal. I appreciate you so much, and God bless. Bye for now.